Enjoying our brief stop here in London, Bulldog? Hmm. Bulldog, I asked you a question. Oh, sorry. I was miles away. I noticed that happens sometimes when you're enjoying a pipe. Apologies, Captain. I suppose our little stop in London is a taste of home. I'm still chewing. A rare comfort in wartime. Try to enjoy it. A distraction from your duties. I'd rather be at sea. I'll try not to enjoy it too much. No promises, mind. We're heading out again soon, Bulldog. So make sure we're ready to go. Everything signed, sealed, and packed in its proper place. Requisition forms? Pre-filled with room for additions. And your machinery is in working order? Guns and kettles polished and loaded. All 4 boilers too? I've 3 and you know it. Heh, nothing gets past you, does it? Almost nothing. In the thick of it again. Time we end last night's pint. Damned Morganas trying to put holes in us. Oi, give me that crowbar. She's all yours. We'll get the Morgana's shell out one way or another. Alrighty, stand aside while I get my back into it. Urgh. Damage control teams are almost done with their repairs, Captain. I can hear them all the way up here in the bridge. That's them. Feels like they've almost got the Morganas round this lodge. Just a few more minutes and we'll be in top form again. You can feel them prying it out. Ugh. Yep, right bastard of a place. To get something lodged. But better a dud than the other sort. That must be painful. Yes, getting shot doesn't hurt as much for a bell. I wonder what else you can feel. No, it must be painful. There's only so much edge this pipe can take off. Clank. It came out. Of course it did. This is the HMS Bulldog. Just in time. My shoulders were getting stiff. You'll have to tell me more about what it's like. I'll never forget. My sister's Beagle and Basilisk collided once. They still don't speak except on holidays. You called, Captain? A while ago. We need to review our charts and assess the report from HQ. That business in the Irish Sea is just a tip of the iceberg. I didn't mean to keep you waiting. Well, not for any longer than would have been safe. Oh, sorry to have interrupted you while you were enjoying a pipe. I've had some practice walking and smoking, I'll have you know. Truth is, I was taking a minute to look at the faces on the shore. You going to miss them? Don't get too sentimental. Looking for someone in particular? Nothing like that, Captain. My first loves are Neptune and Britannia. In whichever order you please. What then? Just checking their eyes, making sure England still has some life in her. Maybe a few stiff upper lips. I like to believe that Reynolds certainly didn't. You're still you're still thinking about his mutiny? It barely deserved the name. At the risk of sounding vain, he couldn't see his goal through his own infatuations. What could his goal have been, I mean? How would he have even have your crewed? How would he have even crewed you? He'd never need a complement of 142. I've counted. There's no way he could have gotten that many on board. Whether or not he did, What matters is he thought he could. Him and everyone else driving their ship. Which the Morgana's conveniently destroyed. Symptoms sorting symptoms. What's on your mind? I'll let you know when I figured the proper words for it. With fires to start. What's this paperwork? Requisition form for more paint? Red, white, and blue, Captain. Painting yourself to match the sweater? Not nearly so on the nose, though. Certainly in the neighborhood of the cheekbone. I thought we'd keep a kill tally. In patriotic colours. Gives the struggle all the more meaning, doesn't it? Not all the crew are British. It doesn't seem like there's enough paint for all the kills we'll get. You seem cocky. That's the attitude a crew needs to hear. You remember when we left Britain, don't you? The fire was looking for her in the eyes of her people. I didn't see it in Reynolds, nor I expect, whatever I have seen it in his friends. So we keep it burning out here at sea. That's what I'm getting at. This is just kindling, of course. We'll find some real firewood down the line. You'll hold your rules. Are we starting with a clean slate or grandfathering your old kills? Jury's still out, Captain. I'll let the crew decide. For now, it's time we end another stripe. I can't stay here. I have a family. I have 8 sisters myself. But jolly we're all aware of what we signed up for. If I get killed at sea, you and everyone else will have the privilege of fighting out here and not on the coasts. Make it count. What's going on here? Oh. French exchange of views. By your leave, Captain. Orders of the day, then. The officer seems scared. That officer should go home and take care of his family. Get that coward off my ship. Nah, he seems scared. He's just anxious about combat. He'll be fine with his nerves when his nerves settle. Bloody inconvenience, though. If we send him home, it only scares the others worse, right? Catching disease, is it? The crew are always watching. Maybe you can let him paint the next kill tally. Now there's a fine idea. He ought to be part of the solution. You think he's a problem? Symptoms, Captain. It's not his fault. He needs to feel he's part of something bigger. Reynolds certainly didn't. And on a more personal level, shipping that love-shrunk spy back to Scotland Yard was the emotional equivalent of prizing out that shell. I'll have no duds on board. Or in the chamber, let's get moving. Spot of fog rolling in. The Morganas are going to use that. No reason to let them monopolize it. What's good for the ugly duckling is good for the swan. I know that's not how the phrase goes. Bit optimistic, besides. If we're talking the feeble literary, a Morgana's a Morgana no matter how she evolves. It does get awfully quiet when we're about to start a fight, even without the fog muffling things. Easily solved, Captain. Burn it off? What's that song you like? Play some music over the loudspeaker. Close, Captain. But you could be closer. A little heart of oak always perks me up when things turn ominous. But I think I need a more central location to sing from. Up in the masts, maybe it is, Len. Whoa. Come on, cheer up, my lads. 'Tis glory we steer to add something new to this wonderful... Gah! Bulldog, you alright? Like half-eaten meat pie. Captain, seems the Morgana has tossed us a coin for our song. Is that a shell? You're lucky I'm good at rugby. As a Domino's captain, was a contact sport too after all. Right, I think the crew heard harmonize with me. Would you kindly? Right, lads and lasses, up you get. I think that coat will last the patrol. We've got plenty of paint if it doesn't. The crew were getting downright knocky for this last tally. I've been sensing an extra spring in their step. That's showing influence, I take it. God, my voice just cracked. Well, I can't take all the credit. If I give the crew something to believe in, it's because they're on top of their jobs. You're a hero, Bulldog, don't deny it. There's more to work than celebrating our kills. We've got some of the best in the business. I'll let our sailors be the judge of that. They're the ones who can go ashore with their stories. We know how much damage we've done. What about the damage we've taken? Written down in exquisite detail, I can practically feel every scorch and breach as I write them down. That makes you a good writer. It makes me a unique writer. I'll let you be the judge of my prose. Besides, it's easier to write about something if you've experienced it. Hang on a tick. Something on your mind? You remember how my shoulders went all stiff when the crew were doing that Morgana shell? I wonder if it might not work that into the damage report for the crew to read. It certainly make them more relatable. Got it in one. First, let my work speak for itself, but a little familiarity might really drive the point home. A shell to the boiler is one thing, but a punch to the gut is another. Not when I'm through writing up. Let's try not to have to, shall we? HQ's latest reports are in. Looks like our push into the Atlantic could go either way. Listening to me, Bulldog? Dodgy push into the Atlantic, right? Vigilant first, sir. We should pay closer attention. You're probably ahead of me. Something wrong? Not wrong, Captain. I haven't blown anything up. Just interesting. Rest assured, Captain. Whenever you call for fire, you will hear my guns. Having said that, I've been spending more time with the crew lately. I'm glad to hear it. You're not normally one of your hair. I'm glad to hear it. You're not normally one of the more public bells. Not to hear the newspapers tell it. A job's a job, whether the Times fawn over it or not. And I prefer simply be done. But it's been educational to mingle between jobs. I'd say I'd been getting on famously with that one officer you saw me bullying. That's a strong word. Only kind of worth the breath, if I'm honest. I think I understood him a little better once I asked him about the family situation. There's a difference between the family you're born into and the family you fall into. Which is the crew. One that you build, and one that we build. And more they have on hand in building it, the less likely they are to see another Reynolds. Nobody's as crazy as he is. Nobody starts that way. But you see strange things from people left well enough alone. Easy to catch a shell before it strikes my shoulders, no? Fancy catching a few more? I might, and hand one off to you if I do. I'll make one hell of a conversational price. Conversation piece. Yeah. I might hand one over to you if I do. It'd make one hell of a conversational piece. Morgana's in range, Captain. Punish that left flank. Shots away. Direct hits. Nice work, Bulldog. I'm focusing on the engines right now, Captain. Those shots are all gunnery crew. I never would have guessed. I'll have to signal them out for commendations. I didn't give the order to fire. On it. I've gallantly set aside some of my own tobacco rations for them to enjoy. I have a philosophy, Captain. For war or life in general. Both. Come to think of it, the way you succeed is through the proper application of overwhelming force. I can understand how that works on the battlefield. It has its applications elsewhere as well. Reynolds crumpled after a kick to the jaw. I'm not just talking about violence, Captain. As fun as it is, a little inconvenience goes a long way. I promise to reward to whoever happens to score the killing blow. And if that person is you, why, you get it, of course. And what's the reward? I haven't decided. Cooperation may keep the kettle on, but competition gets the fire started. And speaking of starting fires... And that was the last time any blighters from the continent ever got one over on England. That hasn't changed in 900 years, nor will it ever. Any questions? None. 1, 2, 3. No, don't get ahead of me. Heart of Oak and our ships, Jolly Tars and our men. We always are ready. Steady, boys, steady! Bulldog. Dismissed, Captain. You're just in time for the end of an impromptu history lecture. I didn't figure you for a lecturing type. I wasn't invited. What's the next one? Neither did I, to tell you the truth. But the crew kept pestering me for it, and I figured it was easier than throwing them overboard. Less paperwork. They seem pretty fired up. Oh, not to be once you've heard a little bit about our history. The Emperor wasn't built in a day, you know. Didn't say that about Rome. They did indeed, but Britain did it better. You may quote me on that if any of the Italian girls happen to come skulking about. You're a damn good speaker of the cuff. You know, I've read of that speech from the Edian incident. Everyone has. I'm proud of my country, but words are words. Shall speak louder. It's not every day that the embodiment of a country tells you about its history. I'm curious about your perspective myself. It's complex, Captain. Of course, I've got time. Another day, Captain. I'm sensing that it's time to speak loudly again. I'll hold you to it. Let's get to work. All right to adjust course, Bulldog? Yeah. Didn't catch that. Are we? Sorry, Captain. Vocal rest. I'm not used to speaking at length like I did, or singing right after. You can tell me if you're under the weather. Anything I can do to help? How long do you think you need? A little honey in my tea or I'll be right. Ask anyone who's been in a choir. There's ought to be 1 or 2 aboard. Got any other songs in your repertoire? Maybe God Save the King would be easier on your voice. Probably, but I might capsize out of boredom before I finish the first verse. Really? But you're so British, yes. I think we've both gotten that far. And for me, it's like singing about the roof of your house. It sits up top, but you come to visit it what's underneath. Don't let the king hear you say that. Of course not, Captain. The tabloids would have a feast on that for months. Let's make sure you don't get fested, then. Make sure you don't get feasted on. It's you I'm worried about, Captain. Even ship spirits prefer meat to steel. Ah, Captain, poor timing. I had to finish this pot of tea. I'll live. Sorry I'm late. Ship's doctor paid me a visit. Everything shipshape? It's not me. One of the crew is complaining about bad back. Oh, thank God. I thought it was something serious. A bad back can be serious. You might have to drop them off in port. How about the crew aren't malingering to avoid combat? It's the doctor's job to worry about things like that. Such pessimism. I have a better idea. Let me talk to them. I don't think we can just... Don't give it another thought, Captain. I'm on the case. What do you think about fixing bad backs? Proper application of overwhelming force, Captain. I'll pop down to the doctor and see who's crooked. Bulldog, wait. So what is a game? Well, I can't care about that now. You called for me, Captain? Come in and close the door. Blimey, this is getting interesting. I heard a report about Midshipman Winthrop. The one with the bad back? Think nothing of it, problem solved. About that. The shit doctor tells me you bent Wallop over the lifetime of wretched her back until she said it didn't hurt anymore. That's right. Anything else to fix before we're ready for the front lines again? You want a doctor, Bulldog. Don't mistreat the crew. Thanks for clearing that up. I'd never do that. Winthrop gave me the all clear. Seems quite happy about the prospect. I'll talk to Winthrop next time I see her. Do, Captain. It's a charming story, and she paints a rare picture with her words. Well, I suppose that... Do you hear that? Singing. Oh, it sounds like... Lord love a duck. God save the bits. They're referring to me, Captain. With a bit of rhyming slang thrown in. Never could have decided that kind of language. You don't want to. It's bloody juvenile. I wouldn't mind a song about me now and again. I admit, it's endearing. Whatever gets them through the day. But the minute they start praying to me is the minute I crack some heads and go with the spine. You sure? I hear the Archbishop of Canterbury was throwing around words like angel and canonization. I'll leave that for the humans who raise it to the occasion. If you could build your own saints, you wouldn't need us, would you? Probably. But we're happy to have you. Happy to be here. Your tobacco's downright spiffy. Might have to ask these Morganas for a light. Repairs are nearly complete, Bulldog. No, they're not. Excuse me? I said what I said. I have the report straight from the gunnery crew. What's going on? Is it going to keep us out of the fight? Then we've identified the source of the problem, haven't we? Blast. I'm having the anti-air batteries cleared out until I can figure out what the hell is going on. Damn. What do you recommend we do? Isn't it obvious, Captain? We fight. Not if you're not ready. We don't. This creation is the better part of valor. I know my Shakespeare, Captain. And your Falstaff needs work. How's your Prince Hal? Training upon the start. See to the rest for me. I'll handle my AA. If you're sure. Sure, I'm sure, and if I'm sure the crew are sure. Sure, I'm sure, and if I'm sure the crew are sure. Alright then, keep it together. It takes more than a dodgy paw to take a Bulldog off the field. Bloody hell, finally. Feeling better? I needed that refit. Lucky it wasn't too serious. Wasn't too serious? One of the AA guns was cracked. We can't be out there here with defective equipment. The Soviet girls seem to make it work. Don't let them hear you say that. They won't, because I won't. It wasn't defective when we got it. You're not saying it was sabotaged? Not yet, I'm not. I need to ask around the next class. I didn't realize you were making a habit of those history lectures. Who do we need to throw overboard? When will that be? Within the week. It's not critical. I've handled worse scraps than this before. I don't like this. If there's a saboteur on board, then we've a one-way ticket to Atlantis with their name on it. I'm not talking about that German cruiser. Sure is useful to be able to take where there's a mechanical problem. All the more reason to incorporate some anatomy lessons into the lecture. I've been getting a lot of questions about those. They would have been itching for the next one. I won't deny that I enjoy sharing my history with them. I can't deny the effect on morale. But this is all a bit funny. Nothing wrong with a little inspiration. Except when people start falling in love and throwing words around like future and evolution or angel. You're special, Bulldog. And the symbol besides people are going to look up upon you no matter what. I'd rather they look beside them while they work. Or better yet, what they're working on. That's where I like to be, in the thick of things. So should we all. Though if we're being honest, sometimes that worries me more. Hardly a note to start battle on. Apologies, Captain. Never apologize for yourself, Bulldog. Your performance would be enough if you had to. Appreciate it, Captain. It's nice to be an equal. I've heard shouting. What's going? Oi, back away from the guardrail. Both of you, 2 meters. Is that Winthrop? I'll handle this, Captain. Miss Bulldog? This one was, it's her fault. Break, now, Winthrop with me. Captain to the bridge. Yes, ma'am. Mental. All of it, mental. I'm surprised they went to the brig when they were told. Why don't we start from the beginning? Is Winthrop alright? I wish I could pin that down exactly. I think it all started around the time of the refit. The gun damage was probably due to some faulty powder bags. Or someone learned the Winthrop had handled them at some point. Was she actually? Don't even dignify that speculation. But why would they have suspected her? You try answering the occultist. They know I fixed her bag. Nearly as I can tell, its proximity to it did the job. Ridiculous. We do love a good betrayal story. Just ask Judas, Lancelot, Lego. Well, they got it. You just had the perspective wrong. And a few other things besides. I'll be in my quarters, Captain. Chapter 17. Don't stop scrubbing, mates. I can still see some greases and oil on my deck. I'm breaking out just thinking about it. Keeping us shipshape? In Bristol fashion, Captain. Keep him busy while things are quiet. Good. I see the crew working hard. What happened wasn't everyone's fault. It wasn't, and yet it was. Collective punishment? Of course not. But fervour is contagious, so I might as well put it to use and buy some time to think. I'm not sure where to begin. I'm not sure if I should even begin. Seems I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. You can't blame yourself for what almost happened to Winthrop. You didn't tell those men to throw her overboard. I didn't. But I repressed my country, my culture, people, and my connections, especially if they happened to like it. And they weren't even British, were they? Oh, sweet bloody hell, Captain, you're right. What did I say? Something I didn't want to entertain. It's not British. Britain they're into. I'll leave it at that. Right then. Mops down and tempers up. We're switching to extra strength cleanser. Chin up, lad. If anyone gives you trouble, you come to me. Not a moment's hesitation. Yes, ma'am. Probably nothing, but, well, by your leave. Don't forget our dominoes game. Dismissed. Anything wrong, Bulldog? Don't be alarmed, Captain. I just might have had to bash some heads in. I trust you'll take care of it? You're not going to throw that officer overboard for cowardice. I'll be the judge of that. I do hope you'll intervene if I get carried away, though. Some days I don't hope very hard. He looked haunted. Still worried about his family? He was last to get to his station from that cleaning spree. I've settled everyone too. So he didn't win the massage? Or rather, you had planned for a prize? First of all, I cut the winner in on the tobacco. So you can shelve your little fantasy. Shelved? More to the point, he's being watched, talked about. By whom? He doesn't know their names, but he swears he's seen a couple of ensigns whispering and then shutting up when he looked their way. You think he might have something to do with your admirers? I'm hoping he's just paranoid. Paranoia I can deal with. As opposed to conviction. Wondering if someone's out to get you is one thing. Being certain someone's out to get me, well, you've seen what that can do. A common enemy isn't enough. You want to watch out when people start sniffing around the fifth columns to break. Brings the whole structure down, does it? There they are, Bulldog. Bulldog? Captain? We're about to engage the Morganas. What's on your mind? Focusing. I'll say, that's the biggest cloud of smoke I've ever seen you in. If I could just have a moment of... Bloody hell, no, Captain. We need to come about at once. Were you out of my mind? Are you out of your mind? We could be attacked at any minute. Our officer's in trouble. He's not that far off. Not that, Bulldog. He's off the ship. Act now. It won't be... Executive Division Captain. Radio the rest of the fleet. They need to know what we're doing. Chapter 20. Bulldog. Captain. I didn't expect to see you in the mass. Class? In a more particular, in a more I'm not gonna say that word. In a more that word style. I reckon I've done enough talking. What did the crew talk about? Whatever they please. Home, family, one hobby or another. I've asked them to leave us out of it. Leave who out of it? Us, the Bells. But you're the biggest inspiration to win this war. Your voice must be thanking you. How would you do that? It's been a fair stretch since I could sit and smoke. Might never go back. Bulldog, what happened wasn't your fault. You can't answer for everyone who's wrong in your name. I can bloody well cut out the middle, man. Hate to break it to you, but we're stuck with you. Me and whichever nutter decides I need protecting or venerating or whatever else. So your solution is what? Fade into the background? What was the name of the officer I rescued? I don't rightly recall. Yeah, he does his job like the rest of us. My job just happens to be different. No bigger, not better, different. That's all there is to it. Now off we trot. Unless I miss my guess, we're not alone in these waters. I'm sure HQ told us as soon as they knew, Bulldog. Unless the Bell would have needed them until they developed precognition. Tempting, isn't it? Maybe we'll get an oracle out of the Greek navy. I could use a modern day Cassandra. Wasn't she cursed to have nobody listen to her predictions? Which would put us right where we are in a way. All this fiddling about in the Atlantic, none of it kept the Morganas from plotting a strike in the Isles. We'll get there, Bulldog. We're going to bury them far underwater. They won't know which way is up. It's not your fault. I keep telling myself that. The channels are alright, pigs here. I may be splitting my focus over the next few days, just concentrating on my engines. I'm pushing us as hard as I can. I understand. No reason to just seize the spotlight until it fixes upon me. For someone who doesn't like the spotlight, you should like doing some great things with it. Anyone could. Sometimes I wish someone else would. Can you imagine fighting this war without bells? Against the Morganas? You'd lose the coast inside of a year. But you know how to fight humans. You pick causes and symbols and rally around them, and they mean whatever you need them to mean. Even if it gets people hurt. Especially if it gets people hurt. We've never had symbols that could speak for themselves. You'll learn to live with Morganas. Live with the Morganas with us around, Captain. I suppose I wish more people could learn to live with us. At least without being so-so. Interruptive. Works for my purpose. HQ reported that the Morganas were spotted massing near Scarsborough and heading south. Of course they did. London's always been the target. They've been shelling some of the smaller towns along their way south, but so far the damage isn't too bad. Be a damn nightmare if they get to the Thames. Don't let it happen. Don't blame yourself. Don't doubt London. It's not a pattern unless it happens thrice. I hope I haven't been bringing the mood down, Captain. You'd know better than I would. I've been scarce lately. You've been working yourself overtime to get us home. We'd still be in the middle of the open ocean without the crew if I'd been failing to teach them anything else. Hope they realized that at least. Failed? What are you? Sabotage, Captain. Lollygagging. We've thrown 4 crew in the brig for appointing themselves judge, jury, and made up sins. Against whom? Me, a destroyer. I can't help what I'm called for, or for whom all I can do is protect the places that made me. The kingdom the Morganas are trying to drown. I didn't need defending, my home did. And what everyone's going to remember? London's finest hour or mine? And how they're going to remember it? Who's in trouble for forgetting? Bulldog. I hate to interrupt, but... No, Captain. I hear it too, that... Come, cheer up, my lads. 'Tis the glory we steer and to add something new to this wonderful year. The crew, they're singing. Heart of Oak. Your song. Not my song, Captain. Britain's. We're almost there, whether we're ready or not. I reckon we might be. Listening to the crew again? A bit. I need to know they're ready for whatever we might see when we get back to the channel proper. Well, don't try it incognito. You're not exactly King Henry V. Take that under advisement. They look up to you, you know. Yes, I believe we've discussed this. You heard them during the approach to London. It sounds like they got your message. You can't judge your fan club by its zealots. It's not just you, it's what you represent. I can certainly judge the zealots. Thankfully, my fan club approve. I was born into a role, Captain, and I like to think I've done the best that I can with it. I love my country. It's what keeps me going. All the crew have something like that. It's what makes us a team. If we can share all those things, that's enough for me. Almost. Learning a lot today. Yeah? Both the crew and me, I finally started talking again. I must have missed that. That explains the singing. About what? Trafalgar. Someone asked me what it was. Someone asked me about it and took up the better part of half hour. Try not to talk that much, but I can get going. Do you know what the difference is between my stories, Captain? If I imagine you got more of them. 1,000 years more, Captain. But I wasn't there for any of it. The glory on the pain, none of it's mine. I'm an ambassador for those who earned it. You're part of something bigger. But just one part. So when I befriend the crew and forge them into a fighting force, I want them to be proud of their role in it. To give them something not to aspire to, but to surpass. Hence your interest in telling their life stories. They're all heroes in their own. I wouldn't have had them aboard if they weren't. While keeping that kill tally, keeping the kill tally though. Of course. And the song. "'Tis glory we steer after all." They're on the run, Bulldog. Keep it coming. Tell the crew to keep singing, Captain. I'm on precautions. Mind if I join you up here? Of course not, Skipper. If you don't mind my pipe. So... the rest of the crew are celebrating. Alright, Kicker too. I can hear them partying in the prayer from up here. I say they all earned it. After all that last battle. No disagreements there. And yet, here you are, alone. Maybe they earned the break from me too. And from me. We don't have to spoil their fun. This war isn't over yet, Bulldog. You still need us. You were a hero out there. You've earned the break. Sitting and smoking, Captain. The war's back on tomorrow. And England will always need a fast ship within a heart of oak. Here we are. It keeps me going. Having somebody leading all the way I can trust. I trusted the crew too. We wouldn't be here if not for them. They had you to look up to, even if they had to make them keep their eyes forward. That's about where my eyes are right now. Inland. It's interesting, Captain. The way you make your heroes, your saints. You look through history and find great people to tell stories you're looking for. That's what makes you Bells different. When we talk about our history, you talk back. Maybe we're not so different after all. I can't go ashore anymore, then you can go back to that time. So, where does this leave us? Making it safe to try. I'll let you know when I've found the way. There's always tomorrow, Captain. We'll make sure of it.